Hi, how are you today? The improved package has arrived. We're having it fitted in time for FP1. Have a look at the factory report.
What's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new video on my F1 2017 career mode, and we are here for round number 15 for the Malaysian Grand Prix. And if you did miss the last episode in Singapore, then I do urge you to go check it out, guys. It's a very interesting episode and a very big twist for the championship, so I'm not going to spoil anything. I do urge you to check it out in the top right hand corner of your screen by clicking on the card annotation. But we're here for Malaysia, a track that I'm mixed about. I don't love or I don't hate. It's sort of in the middle, and one that in the past I've struggled to perform at, to be fair. So I'm hoping to have a good race here today, and overall a good race weekend, and also get a couple of points in the bag and sort of keep Raikkonen at bay. But right now we're looking pretty damn good in the championship, with only 5 more races to go after this one. So right now it's looking fairly in control, and it's a question of just continuing that momentum and going in the right direction. Also, obviously for this race you saw that we have received an upgrade, so that is very good news, and slowly but surely we're definitely progressing in the right direction with this car, and we are getting to a more competitive place. But obviously Ferrari, as always, are still pushing on. But into Friday practice, and you can see it on screen right now, we are making our way through the practice programs and scoring purple scores on pretty much everything. And overall a very good start to the weekend, and getting plenty of resource points put away. And officially I believe this is the last time that we're going to use Power Unit 2, or maybe the penultimate, I'm not sure. Either way, it's one of the last times we're going to be using Power Unit 2 for practice sessions, as that engine is getting very old now. So obviously the performance edge is starting to go away, and we're just keeping Power Unit 3 and Power Unit 4 for the qualifying and race sessions, especially I'm keeping Power Unit 4 for later on in the season for the last few races to have best performance. But as you can see on screen right now, we're jumping into Saturday qualifying, and in Q1 we're going to opt for the yellow wall soft compound tyres, and we're going to come across the line to set our best lap of the session, and it's going to see us go second place behind Raikkonen at the time. But then later on in the session we will drop down a little bit further to P8. But look at the gap difference there actually between myself and Kimi, very close, and those on softs doing really well there, including the Red Bulls, who pulled out a really good performance. But then in Q2 the rain arrived in traditional Malaysia fashion, and we had to adapt to the conditions and try and see if the car would feel okay. Now, to be fair, I did struggle a lot in these wet conditions with the car, but I managed to get a lap together, and I wasn't particularly happy with it, so I went for another run. And my first one was okay, I got me P3, and on my second attempt I was actually going slower. I couldn't find any pace, and the rain was actually getting a little bit worse because it was moving towards heavy wet conditions. And you see on the end screen, Verstappen actually set his fastest lap on wet, so it goes to show the conditions were pretty much on the knife edge between wets and inters. So overall there wasn't much more we could have done with that lap time. But now into Q3 we're going to ride on board intermediate conditions again with a drying track this time, and into turn 1 obviously different braking zone. You can push a little bit harder than Q2 because the conditions are a little bit better compared to the last session, and we're trying to find a better lap time in the various places where in the last session we sort of struggled. And so far a very good start to the lap, pretty much getting the apexes hooked up, and also good traction on every exit zone so far, and we're going to be fastest in the first sector. So good way to start the lap here as we go into the right-hander, 90-degree right-hander of turn number 4, I believe. And so far the lap's off to a great start as we now go through the swooping S's here as Raikkonen goes fastest. So the lap times are dropping here in Q3 with the clock pretty much finished, and Vettel goes fastest of everybody. So the Ferraris turning the wick up in Q3 as I make a mistake and get a little bit wide on the double apex right-hander there, and lose their back end. So the car just not working for me in this middle sector as good as the first, and you've got a really poor balance in these drying conditions. And then through the hairpin now, good run through there, pretty good exit, but then we lose the back end again, losing the traction, and once again into the next corner, the back end's all over the place. The car's just not sticking to the racetrack, and I'm onto the gravel, and that is pretty much the end of qualifying. I took a risk staying out as late as possible for the driest possible track, and it still backfired on me because the car felt horrible on the rear end, and we ultimately paid the price for not setting laps earlier on in the session, even though they wouldn't have been as fast. And we're going to start the race on P10 tomorrow. Hamilton qualifies in 5th place, and it's a Ferrari 1-2, Sebastian Vettel leading the way ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. So a disappointing race with Grosjean getting 4th place there for Haas. Incredible qualifying, but overall that was the story of Saturday, and we're now going to move into Sunday for round number 15 for the Malaysian Grand Prix and the race. Right, here we are then on the grid for round number 15 for the Malaysian Grand Prix, and we're starting the race from 9th place after someone picked up a penalty after qualifying. So we've got a little bit of work to do here today to try and get a good result. Obviously, the Ferraris are at the front of the pack, as you'd expect, and we've got our work cut out to try and get some points back. Obviously, after the last race, we've got a bit of breathing room to Raikkonen in terms of the points. I believe 36 points in the Drivers' Championship, so we've got a nice cushion over the Iceman, but even still, I'd like to try and get a good result today and limit the damage, if not maybe beat Raikkonen, because if we look at the race strategy in a moment, you'll see that there's actually rain expected at the end of the race, literally right at the very end. Normally, that means that it's not going to be wet enough for intermediates when it's normally at the last box ticked on the session forecast. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on these soft compound tyres and then use another set of softs. And then in case the rain does come, we can switch over to inters, try and time that a little bit. And if not, then we can just go into the super softs and push until the end, basically. Also, fuel-wise, we've got a little bit over, half a lap over fuel. So a little bit in the reserve. No need to really use rich mix that much, especially because the rain will come later on. So overall, that's the plan for this race, and overall was pretty much maximum attack whilst being slightly cautious without making any major mistakes, as obviously we can lose a lot of points this race, and Raikkonen's only 36 adrift, so say if Raikkonen won and I didn't score any points, he could really cut that gap down. So it's going to be maximum attack with a small bit of conservation in there, but without further ado, I'm looking forward to the race, so let's jump straight into round 15 for the Malaysian Grand Prix. Right then, here we go. 5 red lights for the Malaysian Grand Prix, and it's going to be lights out and away we go, and it's a good start off the line from us actually on the soft compound tyres, and reacting to the lights rather well. Ricardo having a shock of a start. Raikkonen's behind me, so he was the man that got a penalty, and he's on super soft, so that's interesting strategy from the Iceman as we have a huge lockup into turn 1 here. Hamilton also down to 6th place, so he's had a poor start. He's also on the super soft, so lots of people in different tyres here, so we're going to get squeezed out by Stroll. We're going to switch to the outside for turn 3. Can we make the move on the Williams here? We're just going to keep our nose in and give Stroll a little bit of a squeeze to the inside, but we're going to get held up by Hamilton in front. Can we go around the outside of turn 4 on the Canadian? Yes, we do, just about, and we just get our car in front, and we're up into 7th place. So very good start to the race and gaining 2 places here on the opening lap. Meanwhile, Raikkonen I can just see in P10 there, so he stayed put where he was, but yellow flag further behind there. Someone's had an issue, but either way, we're going to continue on here, and a very good opening lap so far. Now let's see what our pace is like on this soft compound tyre. Well, look who's behind me already. Kimi Raikkonen making the moves on the super soft compound tyres here. Now, I'm going to defend, but I'm not going to defend too hard because obviously he's on a faster tyre, so he's naturally going to be faster than me anyways. I understeer wide at the final corner. Raikkonen's just going to slip up the inside and make an easy move. I think there's a Haas in 2nd place still, holding the position down, which is pretty impressive, but here we go. Drag race with Kimi Raikkonen, my championship rival, into the first corner. Can we match him on the brakes? It's going to be close. He's going to lock up the right front. I'm going to just hold it on the inside and just squeeze back past there. So very nicely done. Not losing any major time. Braking where I normally would for the first corner. And we stay ahead of Raikkonen for now as we're trying to make chase towards Esteban Ocon, who's on the same tyre as me. Also, that Haas car is starting to hold some people up now. So we've got to use this Haas to try and keep up with the pack here. I've run in way too deep at the final corner again here. Raikkonen's just going to slip up my inside, and this time DRS is enabled, so he's going to actually have a little bit more straight line speed than me. So we've got to use the slipstream to try and get back alongside Kimi here. Have we got enough speed? We're going to pull to the inside. Can we match Raikkonen on the brakes up the inside and once again into turn 1? Carbon copy of last time though. This time Raikkonen doesn't lock up and he makes the move. I'm going to try and switch back underneath, but Raikkonen parks his car very nicely there in the middle of the apex, and I can't actually get the momentum to swim back on him. So Raikkonen makes the move and gets past me. So fair play to him. Also, I've noticed I don't have any fresh softs left, so I've changed my strategy up, and we're going to come in for mediums on our first stop and basically go to the end regardless of when the rain comes. So if we don't put the soft, if the rain doesn't come, then we'll just run it to the end on mediums. If the rain does come, then we can just switch over to inters. But either way, that's going to be the better strategy. I think that's going to suit us anyway. So we're going to come in for mediums on our first and hopefully only stop of the race. Okay, we've got a little bit of battling going up ahead here as Ocon's trying to get past Grosjean, and Raikkonen's just waiting in the wings to make the move here, but there's no way through. So if we play our cards right, we can make a nice little cheeky overtake here, but Ocon and Grosjean still going side by side here. Incredible action and they're going to go very slowly on the brakes into this next corner here, so we might have an opportunity here to set ourselves up for a move as we switch back underneath Raikkonen, but I just can't get the traction compared to Raikkonen on them super softs. But we are still in the mix here, but we do need to get past this Haas car now as Ocon has made the move. So Grosjean's becoming a bit of a mobile chicane that we're all having to navigate, but because he's on super softs, his pace is better than what it normally would be, obviously because we're a compound slower. So Grosjean's definitely going to be going backwards at the moment, and Raikkonen's going to make the move fairly soon, I think. Right to the final corner, Raikkonen's looking for the outside on Grosjean here into the final corner. Grosjean's got DRS on Ocon, which isn't ideal, but we've had a great run through the final corner here. They're both going to have DRS. Grosjean's going to try and re-overtake Raikkonen. Meanwhile, I'm going to get the double slipstream DRS here effect, and I'm going to pull to the inside of Roman and try and make the move on the brakes. He's also braking pretty late. He's locked up, I think, on the right front, and that's going to pretty much sentence him to dropping behind me, I think. Is he going to drop behind? Yes, he does. There we go. We just edge our car in front, and we're now past Grosjean. So now let's try and keep up with Raikkonen and also get past Ocon if possible, whose pace is pretty good at them soft compound tyres, to be fair. Right, Raikkonen has made the move on Ocon, exact same place as last lap, around the outside of Romain Grosjean here, but I'm going to try and set myself up for a cheeky little overtake on the Frenchman now that he's exposed and he's now within direct range. I think I can make the move on him here. So he's on the same tyres, so we should be okay for like traction, we should be pretty similar. So Raikkonen's going to go off into the distance now. Clean air, he's going to try and chase after Lewis Hamilton, but now we've got the chance of getting past Esteban Ocon here. So let's try and set ourselves up for a move, and I might be able to pass Ocon by the end of the lap, hopefully. Right, out of the final corner, DRS wide open on Ocon here. We are slowly gaining. Vettel, meanwhile, race leader in the pit lane. We've got a huge run on the Frenchman. We're going to pull to the inside and make the move on the brakes. A little bit of contact there, but we are going to make the move quite comfortably. But Ocon is going to hold it on my inside, I think. So we're going to have to go around the outside of turn 2. Short shift into the fourth. Ocon tries to give me a squeeze there, and it's neck and neck between myself and the Frenchman. The fourth is actually getting the better exit there and straight line speed. And he's actually going to try and swing to the inside. I'm going to commit to the move on the brakes, but there's no way through. And Ocon holds on to the position. Fair play to him. Very nice defensive driving. Right, Lewis and also I believe Raikkonen are in the pit lane. So meanwhile, Raikkonen's made the move on Grosjean, and Ricciardo's actually getting the move on here. So he's going to be a threat for me now. He's also on the soft compound tyres, but so far struggling for pace in this tyre. I can't really switch it on. Malaysia has been a track where I've struggled at in the past, and I can't get past Ocon at the moment. It's really frustrating me. Dirty air is also playing a part in the fast corners, and I just can't go anywhere at the minute, which is really frustrating. I don't know what's happened now, but I've dropped out DRS from Ocon. I can't match the AI's pace. They've all just picked up the pace all of a sudden, an incredible amount, and now I'm under attack from Daniel Ricciardo here. So, and I've got the final corner all messed up, braking in way too late, and Ricciardo's on my inside here. So this is not going well at the moment. I'm really struggling for pace here, and I don't know what to do. I mean, luckily I'm on a different strategy. Hopefully no one copies my medium stint strategy, because that way that'll bring me back into play. But I'm really out at sea at the moment. I really don't know what to do, because my pace is just dropping off, and the AI are finding more and more pace, and I can't respond to it. Right, so this lap we're going to come in for our first stop of the race. I've made a bit of a late call. I was going to come in last lap, but I stayed out one more, and we're going to follow Ricciardo in the hope that we can try and re-jump Ricciardo in the pit stop phase. Hopefully we can get it all slowed down. There we go, very good pit entry there, nice and aggressive. I think if it's a nice quick stop, we might do enough here to get ahead of Ricciardo, but it's got to be a perfect stop here. Come on boys, nice and quick. 2.5. Are we away? Yes, we are. There we go. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. And we're back out ahead of Ricciardo. Ocon also stayed out for one more lap. So if we push hard now this lap in rich mix, we might be able to undercut Esteban Ocon, hopefully. And that will hopefully eradicate our issues, and we can then push on as hard as we can. So let's have a really good outlap. We've got clean air, so let's put it to good use and try and push hard. Right, Ocon is exiting the pit lane right now on their mediums. There he is on the right-hand side. We've pushed very hard on the outlap, and we've definitely gained some time on the Frenchman. He'll be a little bit slow on those cold tyres at first, but I'll be close enough to make an attack. I don't think we are, but I think we've got the pace so far to attack him, as we have pulled away from Ricciardo. It seems like with the fresh tyres, I've definitely got more pace than when the tyres are a little bit more worn, so we've got to put these to good use now. Right, out of the final corner here, DRS on Esteban Ocon. Also, I've still got rich mix enabled. I think we're a little bit too far back, as we do clock up a 33.8, a much more respectable lap time here. But we are very close to Ocon, and we might start troubling him soon. I've got to make the most of these fresh tyres before they start to wear in. So whenever I get a chance, I'm going to go for it. Right, we are close to Ocon, but are we close enough? I'm going to have a look into turn 1 here on the brakes, but not quite close enough to make the move just yet. But I'm definitely faster, although I'm in rich mix, so we've got to keep that in mind. But I want to make the move on Ocon, and I'm now into the negative reserves of fuel, so this isn't good for us. Okay, so I wasn't close enough that time to make the move on Ocon here, but Instead, I might be close enough into here, and there we go. Nice little cheeky move, just trying to slide my way through. That's the only way I was going to make the overtake happen, and that's exactly how it's gone down. Also, Vettel did just pit in that last lap, so we're now up into 5th place. So making solid progress this race, and a nice little recovery drive considering the pace is actually not particularly great. I'm struggling overall, but that was a very nice cheeky move on Ocon, and one that I've been planning for a few laps now, and it finally worked out. So we're now up into 5th. The question is, can we stay in 5th? Right, we've got a couple more cars in the pit lane now in the form of Lewis Hamilton and also Kimi Raikkonen. So we're now up into 3rd place, and we're going to the end here. So this could get very, very interesting. We are catching Verstappen actually as well, so there could be a 2nd place on the cards here. Okay, here comes Ocon. He's going to have a look at me into turn 1 here. Around my outside, I'm going to go defensive. A little bit of wall banging there into turn 1 as he tries to turn in and try and squeeze him to the apex a bit. Ocon still on my inside, but I'm going to go around the outside of him and just pick up the traction and cut him off his nose there and make a nice little defensive manoeuvre and to hold on to 3rd place. And it looks like it isn't going to rain now. It might rain right on the last lap, but there is no rain expected. So it's going to be right now a race to the finish, and right now we're holding a net 3rd place. So can we try and hold on to this? We're really in trouble, but we can really hold on to this if we can really do with the extra points. Raikkonen is behind us by quite a few positions here, so that would actually make him lose a lot of points this race. So we just got to try and keep fighting and trying to stay ahead of Ocon, and now Ricciardo is all over him. And now Verstappen has a car issue, so that's going to potentially give me 2nd place. Okay, we've caught up to the slow-moving Max Verstappen here, who's actually holding up Danny Kvyat, who's a lap car. So Verstappen having big issues with his car because he's really, really slow. And it seems to be under braking. So let's see what Verstappen's issue is as we go around the outside of Kvyat. We are going to pick up DRS, and Verstappen might just run a little bit wide here as I've been put off by dirty air. Verstappen definitely on the back foot, and he's actually managed to do quite well through there. But I'm going to pick up the DRS and try and make the move that also Kvyat's actually held up Ocon a little bit here, so we're going to go for the move on Verstappen. He goes defensive. We're going to commit to the move up the inside anyway. There's a car that's got an issue at the final corner here, and yellow flags, but it's now green again, so he's got going. But either way, we're into 2nd place, and we're looking pretty good at the moment. Perez is 11 seconds up the road, so he is probably going to take the race win, but we've got about 5 cars all for position right behind me here, with Verstappen, Ricciardo, Ocon, Raikkonen, and I believe Lewis Hamilton all in the mix here. So this could be anyone's race to win, or get 2nd place, should I say. But even still, you could be finished 2nd, or you could be finishing 7th. So there's a lot of points on the table. Right onto the back straight. Looks like we are going to be vulnerable here. And here comes Esteban Ocon, DRS wide open. I'm going to force him to the outside into the final corner here and run it nice and wide on entry to try and upset his line. We're going to take a much more shallower, narrow line here. We're going to use the rich mix as we go onto the final lap of the Grand Prix to try and defend our position. Here comes Ocon once again. He's going to go to the outside into turn 1. Are we going to be able to hold on onto the apex here into the first corner? He's going to go around my outside. I'm going to try and run it very wide to close the door on him. And there we go. We've made the overtake. But now Hamilton is on my outside here. He is my teammate, so I've got to leave him some room. But Hamilton on the soft compound tyres has now overtaken Esteban Ocon here. So this is going to get very, very crazy very quickly. I don't mind losing 2nd place to Hamilton, but as long as Raikkonen doesn't outscore me, that's the main thing this race. So let's try and bring the car home. Right, here we go then, onto the back straight. We've got to try and pick up the traction here, and Lewis is going to try and make the move with DRS. I'm going to go up into Rich Mix to try and defend. We can stay in Rich now until the end of the race. Here comes Hamilton. I'm not going to fight him too hard if he goes for the move because he is my teammate, so we're going to go for the wider line into the final corner and then just get the traction on the exit. We are in Rich Mix here. Lewis has got DRS. It's going to be a photo finish to the line, but we just edge out Hamilton there for 2nd place. Get in. What a result and what a race. 2nd place, I'll take that. With the pace that we had, we was really, really struggling, and the strategy call to go onto mediums instead of softs was definitely the game-changing strategy call there, and we've really, really benefited from the one-stop that race. What a result. And Perez wins yet again. Another race victory for him this season. He wins at Malaysia, and Vettel throws it away on the 2-stop, which is also something that it's not the first time he's done this season, and Raikkonen misses out on points to me, so that's going to be pretty good for the championship. And I think we've only got 4 or 5 more races to go, I think. So yeah, we've got 5 more races to go, so this could be very interesting as we're going to extend our points over the Iceman. Right, so looking at the final race results, and Sergio Perez wins the Malaysian Grand Prix. I come home in second place, and Lewis Hamilton finishes in third place. So overall, 3 cars on the podium that didn't even start in the first 3 positions. Esteban Ocon also from P7 on the grid in 4th place. So really, the top 4 Mercedes power cars having a great race here today. Then Max Verstappen in P5 finally scoring points after 3 consecutive DNFs, and Sebastian Vettel in 6th ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. Kimi Raikkonen only managed 8th place with that second stop right at the back of the train, and he couldn't make any inroads in trying to catch us up. So disappointing race for him there. And then Romain Grosjean from 3rd place manages to get himself 2 championship points, and Julian Palmer scores a single point for Renault. But further down the order, you'll see that obviously Lance Stroll was the only DNF of the race, so no major qualms here in terms of retirements. But in terms of the Drivers' Championship now, we've extended our lead to 50 points. So essentially, we've got 2 race weekends in our back pocket. So if you take out Abu Dhabi and you take out Brazil, then Mexico is the earliest we can win the championship, and we're 3 races away from that. We have to race at Mexico, we have to race at Kota, and we have to race at Japan. So the championship could already be in sight, and Lewis Hamilton is catching Kimi Raikkonen now with only 29 points behind the Iceman, and Vettel only 8 points behind Vettel, and Perez with that race win back on level terms with Sebastian Vettel. So that battle for the runner-up position is getting very, very tasty indeed. But in terms of the constructor standings, you can see that we are 58 points ahead of Ferrari. Me and Hamilton getting some good solid points to extend our lead, and we're comfortably ahead now. But we are going to move into laptop now and see if we purchase any possible upgrades. Right, so here we are then on the laptop, and I'm not going to buy any upgrades for the next race in Japan as I don't have enough resource points, but I thought I'd let you guys have a look at the progress history, and it makes it very interesting really in terms of how the upgrades have gone all season long, and everyone's pretty spread about, to be fair. If you exclude Mercedes, Red Bull and Force India, the entire midfield very spread apart there, and very interesting battles going on, and Toro Rosso now actually ahead of Haas compared to the start of the season, for example, and also Force India, Red Bull, Mercedes as closer than ever, basically, literally all within the same sort of part of the graph. But Ferrari controlling their distance. If you look at Australia compared to now, it's exactly the same. There was a point around Italy where the gap came down, but then they brought an ultimate upgrade to Singapore, and that made a big difference to their performance. But nevertheless, guys, that's going to round things up for this episode, and if you have enjoyed it, then please do smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and also please do check out these videos on screen right now, and also have a look at GT Omega in the links down below in the description. Use the code TOM97 for a 5% discount at checkout. But other than that, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.